Hello and welcome to this Dawn Busters Taste Challenge. We have Beams 8-Star Kentucky Blended Whiskey, introduced in 1976. Versus, make sure my audio is okay, 76 versus Kentucky Gold. Now, Kentucky Gold, Kentucky Blended Whiskey, introduced in 1992, okay? They're both 80 proof. They're blended at an 80 to 20 ratio, 20% straight Kentucky whiskey. This is from Bardstown, Kentucky. It's made by Heaven Hill. It's aged 3 years. Beams 8-Star Kentucky Whiskey, a blend. Distilled and bottled by Kentucky Springs Distilling, Claremont and Frankfort, Kentucky, USA. Aged 2 years. The Kentucky whiskey is only aged 2 years. It says straight Kentucky whiskeys 2 years or more old. Could be older than 2 years, but it's less than 3 because they would tell you if it was 3. So it's very young, a young 2 years, but so we have a young whiskey versus a very young whiskey. All right. This is probably using, and this is theory, not fact, this is probably using Jim Beam bourbon as their straight whiskey, a 2-year age Jim Beam. I already hear talk where people, and I haven't seen anything official, but people say that Old Crow is a 3-year age Jim Beam. So that's probably what they're doing. They're taking 2-year age, making the Beams 8-Star. They're taking 3-year aged, making the Old Crow, and they're taking the 4-year, and that's Jim Beam. Could that be incorrect? Oh, well, sure, because I'm saying I don't know that for a fact. I'm just saying this is the assumption people are making. Every time I can't find the black cap because it's a black desk top. Okay. So put the 8-Star over here. Now, Beams 8-Star is fairly common. You see it around. I see it at grocery stores, usually in the 1.75 milliliter plastic bottle. But obviously, you can get it in the glass bottle since I have one. I made a special order for it. And Mathern's got it for me. It took them about 2 days, and then I got it. There it was, $7.99, which I thought was a fair price, especially since I requested it. But I guess the most popular blended whiskey around here is Seagram 7 Crown. That's the most popular one in the United States. The second most popular would be Heaven Hill, the Heaven Hill brand. Heaven Hill. So this Kentucky Gold is produced by a quality, let's read the name of the company. Quality Control Distilling Company. Now you might say, Quality Control Distilling. I've never heard of Quality Control Distilling. I've never heard of Kentucky Springs Distilling Company. That is because those are aliases. Kentucky Springs is a registered alias of Beam Suntory. They are allowed to do this. You say, well, that's deceptive. Yes, I suppose you're right, but the U.S. government allows it. And you might have one company like Sazerac that has 25 different aliases. More, maybe. Same thing with Beam Suntory and Heaven Hill. Quality Control Distilling. Another one of those alias companies. Okay, so appearance. Well, let me set some of this down and make it even. You say, oh, that's going to interfere with your taste challenge. I don't think so. Once I mix them up, isn't going to matter. Nice drips, nice alcohol eggs. They're both gold. They're clear. It look kind of like the same thing. And am I going to be able to tell these apart? And am I going? I'm just checking audio because last year I had problems with Google Chrome and bad audio, but it seemed like that's corrected with Google updates. Hope so. I'd rather use Google than Microsoft Edge. But I didn't have audio problems with the Edge. Internet Explorer. I don't like Internet Explorer, but I never had audio problems with it. I think that the Beams 8-star is going to be a little tastier. Going to get more caramel, more nectar. And the other one, the Kentucky Gold, is just going to be like a flat taste. You say, what do you mean flat? This stuff's not carbonated. I don't mean in that sense. It's just like a neutral flavor. There's not much going for it. Why do they call it Beams 8-star? I don't know. Maybe they were trying to make people associated with 7 Crown, something like that. You know, Seagram 7 Crown, Beams 8-star. You might say, no, they're both involved in numerology. It's Kabbalah. It might be. But I don't know that. Okay. The return of the thin white Duke, shooting darts through lovers' eyes. All right, here, let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. All right. I noticed that this one smells very nutty. Like I've said this so many times. Pecan shell walnut oil. It just reminds me of that. No salt, not salted nuts, but just the oil from those nuts. It's got a rich aroma. Must be 8-star. Let's go with the Kentucky Gold. I'm guessing already, but I could be wrong. I'm not. This is not the official guess. This is the preliminary guess. Yeah, right. Like the aroma here is just like flat, like standard alcohol burn, and not a whole lot. John Annealy, good morning, Ron, says John Annealy. If you're watching this, let me know if the audio fails. It did not fail last night. I'm paranoid about it because I had so many problems with it last year when I was through Google Chrome. I know they've done a lot of updating though. Okay, so the preliminary conclusion is that in my left hand, maybe to your right, is the Beams 8-star. Richer aroma. It smells quasi bourbon-like. Quasi, not exactly. When we did the hangout last night, the green bottle beer on Thomas Meadow 75, Massachusetts Beer Reviews. I wanted to do my Wednesday night bourbon because I'm trying to drink down these bottles, you see, so I have to kind of like schedule it out. Some people ridicule that. Oh, how could you make a drinking schedule? It's crazy. Well, because I want to, that's why. Okay, how about that? I feel like doing it. But that that was 10 high, and 10 high is blended. It's not even a great highfalutin bourbon by any stretch. But it had a lot more room than either one of these, and a woodier taste. And all. Well, what do you expect? It's bourbon. These are not. Okay, but Beams 8-star is a closer approximation to bourbon than these other American blended whiskey concoctions or Kentucky blended whiskey concoctions, okay? Taste again. It tastes like a watered down, but watered down with grain neutral spirits, corn whiskey, moonshine, a watered down Jim Beam. It's got that green wood, the cellar mold, that mossiness, that weird kind of odd Jim Beam thing going on with it. Let's go with the taste on this one over here. Yeah, it's like standard neutrality. And what I mean is there's standard just vacancy. Yeah, it's like, yeah, so there's no, I can't say it's bad flavors. I'm not sipping this and saying, oh, it's so bad. It's a 5 out of 100. You know, like people do these extremist beer reviews or extremist liquor reviews. You know, they might drink, what's the one they always, oh yeah, like Jack Daniels, always flipping out on Jack Daniels. And it's fashionable to hate on Jack Daniels. So you get on some of these liquor websites, it tastes like airplane glue. It tastes like spoiled milk. It doesn't taste like any of that. Or Budweiser. I'd rather drink horse urine than Budweiser. It's a 1 out of 100. It's 90, you know, it's hard. Well, no, it's just maybe dull, okay? But don't say all these cockamamie things, you know? So this one is kind of like that. It's like, nah, it's there. It's not like cheap beer, though, like Milwaukee Special Reserve Ice or Rockdale Classic. Those are not just bland. They're horrible. They taste bad. I enjoy Beam's A-Star. Sounds like you've already got this one figured out, says John Anile. Maybe I have it figured out. This one here, you can pick up on charred wood. So it's got the woodiness. Yeah, you know, it's got the corn grits a little bit, you know, but in the grain neutral spirits kind of smooths that out. So for people that are repelled by that heavy bourbon corn charred wood thing, you know, it's kind of like, oh, I don't like black and red fish because it's too charcoal, you know, charred carbon, and red fish is too like fishy, gamey, oily. My grandmother said, I don't like red fish. They're full of blood. It's bloody, blood, clean red fish, blood everywhere. So, well, this would be more mild, you see. So maybe if you don't like Jim Beam, and that's another one people will say outrageous things about, like, oh, Jim Beam, you know, it tastes like roofing tar and toilet bowl cleaner and all this stuff. And it's like, no, it doesn't. It just tastes maybe not that great, but don't say all these things, you know, it's so silly. So this one could be a milder thing. And plus it's cheaper. So if you don't like Jim Beam and it's too harsh, which I don't know why you would say that really, because I don't find it's too harsh. But anyway, let's just say for sake of argument, you claimed it was. This would be good and mild. And that it's kind of like with beer, you know, some people don't like the Reinheitsgebot German beers because they're too much barley burn. You know, that barley, when it's pure barley, sometimes it can be a little like intense, like too flavorful for the American mouth, American palate, American taste buds. So then the it's sort of like grain neutral spirits, the filler, the adjuncts, corn or rice, corn syrup or rice, will soften out the taste. The beer connoisseur is going to say, no, it makes it bland and tasteless. Yes, that's right. But the American, the average American is going to say, oh, this one's better. You know, it tastes better, you know. And the Americans will say bitter for anything, you know, like if the beer is real strong, malt, like with some char, you know, like Guinness extra stout. A lot of Americans will try it and they'll say, that's so bitter. I was like, what do you mean bitter? I don't think a lot of Americans necessarily have an understanding what that word means, bitter. From my experience, they'll just use that term when they might mean that it's intense or it's strong or something, but they'll say bitter. And then they'll say that for Guinness. Oh, that's so thick. Well, you know, Guinness isn't really thick, especially the draft, you know, the 4.2%. It's kind of thin bodied. So, but you'll hear them say that. But the adjuncts will soften that out. Okay. So back to this, rounding back around the bend. I think that this would appeal to people that might be repelled by bourbon. If I was going to buy an American blended whiskey, and I wouldn't be buying that, I think I've done enough purchasing of American blended whiskey. I still have a few bottles I've never even opened, by golly. So it's kind of like, okay, been there, done that. But let's just say I was going to buy one. It would be the Beams 8-star. I'm almost certain, because that one seems to have more flavor. Oh, well, it might be the Seagram 7 Crown, except I don't want to pay an extra $4 or $5 because it's not any better, you know. So I think the 8-star would be where I would go. It's where I would go. $7.99 a bottle, better than $11.99, right? Yes, right. I'm gonna call it. Whew. It is 40% alcohol though, so you get that. Woo. I gotta start cleaning. Gotta finish up this house cleaning. Gotta walk 1.5 miles. Gotta fold clothes. Gotta do other things. Okay. Yeah, there's no way. There's no way this can be that Beams 8-star because it's too flat of a taste and it doesn't have that. I agree. Many Americans like bold things except beer. Bud Light, Miller Lite, Coors Light. It's comical, really. It's just what they like, you know. They'd rather go see Aliens than Hannah and her sisters. Okay. Still, we love our Jack Daniels. Yeah, and that's kind of harsh and bold. But how do most Americans drink Jack Daniels? You know how. With Coke. Right? Right. Mixed drinks. So a lot of Americans drink Jack Daniels straight. I don't think too many. Not too many. Not too many. Not too many. Okay. So here we go. I want y'all to think about me. Wish me the best. Beams 8-star. Got it. Got it. For a second, the tag threw me off, and I'll tell you why. This is KG Kentucky Gold. When I was filling out my tags this morning, I was thinking that I was doing Ancient Age Preferred. I had gotten my schedule mixed up, so I made a tag AAP, Ancient Age Preferred, and then the other one KG Kentucky Gold. So I had forgotten that and then when I checked my schedule, I said, "Oh, it's Beams 8-star." So then I went and changed the bottles, but I forgot to change the tags. Well, I know that AAP would have been changed to BES, Beams 8-star. So I got it. Yeah, it's just too. You're not going to get. You can get a lot of these blended whiskeys mixed up, but you're not going to mix them up with Beams 8-star. I don't believe. No. I don't think so. I don't think so. All right. Would I recommend Kentucky Gold? No. I would recommend it only this way, just so you could say you tried it. You know what I mean? And you might collect bottles, and there are people that collect liquor bottles and whatnot. And you say, oh, yeah, that's a weird label. I want it. You could buy it for that. Now, as far as the drinking, I mean, you could do it. I'm doing it in the taste challenges, but it's not too appealing You're not going to wake up and say, oh man, later today, I'm going to drink some Kentucky Gold. No. More than likely, you'll wake up and say, later today, I'll drink some of it to help get rid of it. Woo, close call. Your initial facial expression had me concerned. No, it really wasn't a close call, John. What happened was it was the tag thing. I didn't even have to bring that up, but that's why I made the face. I say AAP. And then I realized, oh, that's right. I forgot to change to BES. But no, it really wasn't a close call because remember now, I got this correct on the sniff. So from aroma only, I told them apart. I could tell them apart. And this is true with beer. You practice enough. If you practice enough, you can start telling beers apart by their aroma. Like say, Natural Ice from Keystone Ice. You just sniff and say, that's Keystone Ice, and that's Natural Ice. They don't smell the same. Nope. So when people tell you, oh, those American beers are all the same, they're similar. There's no doubt about that. But they are not all the same. I'm sorry, they're not. That is not a true statement. That is not a true statement. Okay. All right. What's coming up? Well, I'll tell you. I can't remember. No, I have them all lined up. I think it's Ancient Age Preferred. I tried to do all this. I try to do them by company, you know, because Sazerac has that house style. So I think I have it lined up like Ancient Age Preferred. I wanted to get Beam's 8-star out the way because, you know, it's Jim Beam. They have their own house style. You know, they have their own, that thing you can kind of identify. So I think next Saturday we'll try to do Ancient Age Preferred. And then perhaps Sunday, if we're able, we could do Barton Premium. Not much to that one. It's kind of bland. Ancient Age Preferred is kind of bland. A little better. Then we'll do Albertson's whiskey. That's really bland, but probably no blander than Kentucky Gold now. And I think it's a little better than Kentucky Gold. So think about that. You can get Albertson's blended whiskey for $4.99. Oh, wow. That's so cheap. John and Nelly say, yeah, it takes a lot of practice, especially with macro lagers. I've tried and failed many times. Oh, yeah. Even if you practice all the time, you're going to still have some failures, but I think you'll get a much better handle on it. And then you're going to realize your National Bohemian does not taste like your Schaefer, which does not taste like your Old Milwaukee, which does not taste like your Old Style, which does not taste like your Budweiser. And I don't know who would ever get Budweiser mixed up with anything. Now, if you want to hate Budweiser, that's fine. Why would I care if somebody hates Budweiser? Doesn't matter to me. But don't sit there and say it tastes like everything else, because it does not. I think I could pick out Budweiser every time in a sniff test without even tasting it. That's how distinct it is. Now, your counter argument might be, yes, distinctively bad. Okay, fine. That's what you think. But at least give me that. At least say it's distinct, okay? Jorneck says, good morning, Ryan. Good morning to you, your neck. Well, this brings us to the end of another fascinating taste challenge. And I got stuff to do. All right, so talk to you later, people. Get ready for some more exciting adventures in tasting common liquor brands.